Dear Ajahn, can you please tell us more about Quan Yin and Lord Ganesha? Not really. Ganesha is supposed to be the Hindu god of something or other. It's supposed to be an elephant. However, in Australia, we have the god of kangaroo. We call it Kanguru. Kanguru. No, guru? It's either a bad joke or you're not. Is the microphone okay? Can you hear me? Yes. So it was a bad joke. I thought just because you could hear me. But Quan Yin is very interesting if you don't know the story of Quan Yin. The story of Quan Yin, in Sanskrit, you know what its name is? It's Avalokitesvara. That's the Sanskrit word. And the first record of that being was actually just like, the Lord Buddha had two chief disciples. Our Buddha. Just like, I haven't got one here. I think on the Buddha statue outside, you've got the two monks on either side of the Buddha. Who knows what their names are? Yes? Yes, very good. So you get the bonus prize for being the smarty pants. So, just like the Lord Buddha had Sariputta Mahamoggallana, the Buddha to be, Amitabha, has two disciples. You know who those two chief disciples were? One of them was called Vayama, just like our Ajahn Vayama here. And the other one was called Avalokitesvara. So it started off as a future chief disciple of the Buddha, of Amitabha Buddha. And then over the years, number one, they were both male. And over the years, Vayama, which means effort, wasn't all that popular. So people forgot about that, because people are generally lazy, we don't like effort. So Vayama got forgotten. And Avalokitesvara, like compassion, that was very popular. So that actually became more well known. And then when it went to China, Buddhism went to China, it was very popular, but the first statues of Avalokitesvara were all male, with a beard. And later on, because people thought that compassion was a female quality, then the statue changed. And these days it's always depicted as a female. So you can say that Avalokitesvara was one of the first gods to have sex change. Started off as a man in history and now is a woman. Very interesting. That's just archaeology. It's true. Anyway, next question, before I get into more trouble. First of all, we'd like to say this meditation center is absolutely beautiful and very well maintained. I'm enjoying my stay here. Signed, Ajahn Brahm. No, it's not me. Secondly, I do come to see the merit of letting go of past and future as basic steps. What should I do when past thoughts arise? Do I name them, past, and move on to the breath? This sometimes feel like I'm forcing the thoughts away and not being kind. Yeah, if you think thoughts are the past, you just tell yourself, not my business. They're gone. They're finished. And so don't even worry about them. And number two, all those thoughts of the past, you will find that they're very deceptive. Sometimes you think you did that, and you didn't. Sometimes you're sure that someone else did that, and they did not. Because our memory is very unreliable. Even what you ate this morning for breakfast. What did you eat this morning for breakfast? You think you remember, and you're sure that's what you ate. But some of you will be surprised. You didn't eat that at all. It's true. This psychologist did this experiment. He was about to retire. He was in Canada. And he was looking through all his old papers. And he found these papers that when he began his career as a psychologist, he did a survey of children, I think somewhere in the United States. And he was asking them all these questions. He had the questionnaires, it was about 30 years previously. Simple questions about their upbringing, such as, did your parents give you pocket money, or did they not? If you were a bad kid, how did they punish you? Did they spank you, send you to your room, take off your pocket money? What did they do? Which parent did you love the most? Now, what subject did you like at school? All simple questions like that. And his idea was 30 years later to try and trace as many of those children as possible and ask them the same questions, to see if their memory of their childhood corresponded to what they'd written down at the time. And of course he published a paper of the findings, and it was astounding, because what actually happened at that time, for what they said in the survey, was totally different than what they remembered. Simple things like, did you get pocket money? At the time they said yes, and now they say no. And did you love your mother more than your father, or your father more than your mother? They said the opposite things. If they punished you, did they send you to the room or spank you? And they said no, they didn't spank me, but now they said yes, they did. And it was so striking just how different it was. It was just proving what most people know, that what we think happened probably never did. Our memory is so unreliable. And you should know that by now. You argue with your partner. You said that. I said, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. Who's right? You can't say. Because once the past is gone, we cannot get it back again. That's one of the problems. There's an old ceremony which we use for people having problems in their marriage. You know what it's like in a marriage. In the first year of marriage, the husband listens to the wife. In the second year of marriage, the wife listens to the husband. In the third years of marriage, the neighbours listen to both of them because they're shouting so loud. But because in a marriage people often say bad things to each other, we have in Buddhism something we call the chicken ceremony. Have you heard about the chicken ceremony yet? A good example of this, there was a man and he'd said some terrible words to his wife. He was in big trouble. So what do you do when you're in big trouble? Go and see your favourite monk or nun. So he went to the temple, he saw his favourite monk and said, I'm in big trouble now. What I said to my wife, I'm just really in trouble. Can you help me? And the monk said, yes, we can do the chicken ceremony. He said, what's that? He said, look, I'll show you. But in the chicken ceremony, you need a chicken. So there's still time. Go to the market and buy a chicken, a dead one. And then on your way from the market here, take the feathers out, pluck it, because I need the chicken without any feathers. So he rushed to the market, managed to get a chicken before the market closed, and on the way from the market to the temple, he plucked out all the feathers, and he handed the monk this plucked chicken. And the monk said, very good, that's part one, finished. Now I'm going to put this in the freezer, you come first thing tomorrow morning for part two of the chicken ceremony. Don't you know the chicken? Don't you do the chicken ceremony in Singapore or in Sri Lanka? You've never done a chicken ceremony before, it's very good. Anyway, the following day, he arrived early. His wife was locked him out of the house, slept outside with his friends, and he went there, stood in big trouble. He said, look, this better work, because I'm in big, big trouble. What I said to my wife. He said, okay, second part of the chicken ceremony. So he took the chicken out of the freezer, thawed it in the microwave, and gave it back to him, and said, now, I want you to walk back to the market, retrace your steps, collect all those feathers you took out the night before and put them back into the chicken where they came from. And he said, I can't do that. And I probably won't even be able to find half of them. And even if I could, you can't put them back in again where they came out from. And the monk said, now that's the meaning of the chicken ceremony. Just like when you take a feather out of a chicken, you can never put it back again. When words come out of your mouth, you can't grab them and put them back in again. Once they're out, and you're in big trouble. So he learned from that to make sure bad words never come out of his mouth, because once they're out, you can't grab them and put them back inside again. Just like once the feather's out of the chicken, it can't go back inside again. So that's the meaning of the chicken ceremony. So, but a lot of the things which we think happened probably never did. So that's why all of the past is unreliable. So why do you worry about it? If you're a negative person in a bad mood, you always think of the bad things which happened in the past. The badness in your mind right now, the negativity, resonates and brings up other bad memories. If you're in a good mood, a happy mood, then you resonate with all the happy memories. So look, if you are going to collect the past, at the very least, collect the happy memories. And the bad stuff, as I said, that's in the trash can. For those of you who are worried about all the terribly bad things which you have done and which has happened to you in the past, in psychology, the first way of overcoming all of the guilt and anger of the past is to bring it up, acknowledge it. So if you've got any things you're very embarrassed about, guilty about, or you're really angry about what people have done to you, write it all down on a piece of paper. You've got to write everything down, all the things you feel really upset about. And the best piece of paper to use is called toilet paper. So once you've written it all down on toilet paper, you've acknowledged it. Now you have to let go. So take it to the loo, put it in the bowl, and flush it away. And and that is called the toilet ceremony. For letting go of the shit of the past. Because that's where that stuff belongs, isn't it? You know, if you've got a piece of toilet paper, and it's all dirty, you don't keep it, do you? You don't put it in your pocket with all that brown mucky stuff on. That's crazy, but that's what you do with your memories. So remember, all the toilet paper memories, that's where they belong. Write it down on toilet paper, take it to the toilet and flush it away. That's what you should do with the past. And that way the past bad thoughts, they don't arise. Past good thoughts, they're not so bad. Think of all the beautiful happy memories you've had. All the wonderful jokes you've heard from Ajahn Brahm. Don't keep the bad ones, keep the good ones. And all the lovely times you've had, and that means you're happy. So let go of the painful thoughts. And if you can't do it easily, try the toilet ceremony. Anyway, come on, let's go on. How to blast someone with metta. Do you do it while meditating? If so, wouldn't it be distracting to your stillness? I find metta meditation hard to practice. Any tips? If you have a difficulty doing metta meditation, please go and see Dania. Because we have a nice little rabbit. And so you can hold that rabbit, and that poor little fluffy rabbit. And if you can't get metta towards a rabbit, if you think like putting it in a stew and cooking in it, get out of here. No, there's a beautiful, nice, soft little rabbit, and you get lots of loving kindness meditation. Or just go over the road to Bodhinyana, what many of you have already done, and look for the kangaroos. They've got these little joeys in the pouch now. It's just so cute. And you have to get loving kindness towards these small little joey kangaroos. So anyway, so to blast them with metta, you've got to have some metta first of all. So learn some metta, some softness. That's why we have Ajahn teddy bear over there. So if you haven't got any metta, you can borrow Ajahn teddy bear and hold it and then do metta meditation. Oh, nice little teddy bear. Oh, may all teddy bears be happy and well. And may all yogis be happy and well. And may all other people be happy and well. So you do some loving kindness that way. After a while, it's pretty easy. And it's really good fun having metta. It's a natural high to loving all beings. It will happen to you anyway, because when you get very peaceful and still in meditation, metta comes quite naturally. You can't help itself. You just want to love the whole world. You're at peace, you're happy, you're joyful, you've got no problems. You just, may all beings be happy and well. You can't stop that. So, when you do it, if you do it in that sort of metta meditation, you do it as you come out of meditation. So you've been in stillness, now you're emerging. And before you fully open your eyes and get up and do something else, may all beings be happy and well. May all the yogis be happy and well. It works. One of my favorite stories, there was this monk, it was Ajahn Lee, one of Ajahn Mun's disciples. Now those days, those monks were really tough, but not sort of superhuman. And he arrived at a village on his wanderings. And you always have to check in at the village to show that you're there, because they like to come and listen to some teachings that evening and give you some food the following morning. So he checked in and they showed him a nice place to meditate and to rest the night. And they said they'll come back after dinner to listen to a dharma talk. It was about 2 hours' time, 2.5 hours' time. So he settled down under a tree to meditate. And he realized he'd chosen the wrong spot. It was a red ant's nest. The big red ants, they really bite. And so he sat down there meditating, watching his breath. And he felt all the red ants come up his legs and up his body and bite him. It's very important if you're giving a dharma talk to try and wake people up every now and again by making them scared. Bite him. And he was a tough monk. I'm a monk. I'm a disciple of the Buddha. They can bite me. I'm not going to move. And the next thing, he was running away. You know what happens is, so you lose your mindfulness. You don't know how you got to that place, but he was running. And he stopped himself and said, no, look, I really should be a proper monk. So he looked back where he was sitting. There was a swarming with ants. And he sat right down in the middle of them. That's a monk. They don't make monks like that these days. One mosquito and you go away. But he sat down there and they all came up him again and started biting him, but this time he didn't move. But he changed his meditation from breath meditation to metta meditation. May all ants be happy and well. Have some dinner, ants. There's plenty here, or whatever he said. And this actually works. The ants stopped biting him because he was kind. You can't eat someone who's just so soft and lovely. So the ants stopped biting him. And then he felt them all walking down his legs and away. In 10 or 15 minutes, the last one left his foot. He had this beautiful meditation, so peaceful. And he came out of his meditation because he heard the lay people coming. And they were making such a noise. And so he opened his eyes, and they were dancing. He's wondering, this is a strange custom. They don't usually dance when they come and visit a monk. And then he realized why they were dancing. The ants! And he looked around him, and this is a true story. There were millions of ants surrounding him. But there was like this no man's land, a circle of 1 meter around him, where there was no ants at all. The ants were protecting him. Millions of him just swarmed around, nice and peaceful, but just around him like a force field, 1 meter radius, no ants at all. That's what happens when you have loving kindness. The ants protect you. So there we go. So I'm walking back this afternoon and start to get some flies, because this time of the year, in West Australia we get lots of flies. They're very safe because they're all Buddhist flies, so you don't have to worry. But if you get worried of them bothering you, just give them loving kindness. May all flies be happy and well. May they be at peace. And if you do that, then the flies will protect you. And that noisy person in the room, they will get that person because they upset their friend who gives them lots and lots of loving kindness. But whatever, if you do lots of loving kindness, it really works. So try it. It's much better than pesticide. What is the difference between satipatthana and vipassana? Is it effective only after deep samadhi? Thank you. I don't know if there we go. So somebody protected you, wasn't it? Was that an ant? I don't know. Sorry? Spider. It was just a Buddhist spider. You just say hello. Never mind. The Buddhist spider was coming in to listen to the Dharma talk. We had heaps of spiders when I was in Thailand. We had tarantulas. Big ones, about the size of the thing. Really. And because it was a hot season, I'm not exaggerating, in the hot season, we just take off the top of our robe. So we're just, without anything from the waist up, and had our lower robe on. And you'd be lying down there having a rest, and they'd fall on your chest. These tarantulas from the rafters of the roof. Go over your chest. They're ticklish. They're really nice though, because they're a bit hairy, so the hairs, they tickled as they run over your chest. They were tarantulas, real tarantulas. They're really sweet. It's true. You got used to these things. They're only spiders. So poor spiders. So if you don't like spiders, we do metta meditation. May all the spiders be happy and well. But somewhere else, not close to me. So satipatthana or vipassana. I don't know if you mean samatha vipassana, but satipatthana is the 4 foundations of mindfulness or focuses of mindfulness. And Ajahn Brahmali gave a talk on that last Saturday. I was here, so he gave a talk to the novices in Anagara. He made a very good point. In the sutras, the way the Buddha taught that, it was always a prelude to samadhi. In other words, you did that to be mindful enough, to be peaceful enough to eventually get into the deep meditations. He was saying the four satipatthanas, the way of fulfilling the 4 satipatthanas is through anapanasati. The breath meditation is the 4 satipatthanas. That may not be how you were taught, but you have a look in the books. In Sutta number 118, the Anapanasati Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, you see it there. 4 ways of fulfilling Anapanasati. So the 4 ways of filling Satipatthana are the 16 steps of Anapanasati. But I think what a lot of people think, they think about the difference between samatha and vipassana. And I tell the story every time that there is no difference. And this is how I tell the story. Once upon a time, there were these couple who lived together, man and woman, in love, in harmony, best of friends. The husband was called Samatta, and his wife was called Vipassana. Samatta means like calm, Vipassana means insight. So Sam and Vi lived together happily. And one evening after lunch, they said, we need some exercise. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk up Meditation Mountain. Because Sam wanted to go up to the top of Meditation Mountain because it was so peaceful on top of that mountain. Vi, his wife, she wanted to go up Meditation Mountain because of the view. You could see forever on top of Meditation Mountain. They also had a little dog, and they wanted to take their dog up Meditation Mountain too. And the dog's name, she was called Metta. So Sam, Vi, and Metta the dog went up Meditation Mountain. Sam was up there for the peace, Vi for the view, and the dog, what does a dog do things for? Just for fun. So the 3 of them walked up the mountain, and even when they got halfway up, oh, it was so peaceful. So quiet that Sam was enjoying the walk. And as for Vi, she was getting so many insights, because she was so high up, she'd take all these insights with her insight camera, taking all this so she can remember afterwards. And little Metta the dog, the higher she got at Meditation Mountain, the more Metta the dog was wagging her little tail. She was so happy. And when they got to the top of Meditation Mountain, wow, it was so still that Sam Atta said, wow, this is so peaceful. He enjoyed every moment of it. But Sam had a pair of eyes too, so he enjoyed the view too. And as for Vi, the view was spectacular. She could see everything. The insight was total. But she could also feel the peace there. And as for Metta the dog, just like dogs do when they're blissed out, was running around in circles, wagging its tail as if it was going to fall off. And the reason is, because on top of Meditation Mountain, the stillness, the insight, and the metta, the love, coexist. You may be going up there for the metta, for the love. You may be going up Meditation Mountain for the insights, or you may be going up Meditation Mountain for the stillness. It doesn't matter why you're going up there. When you get to the top, you experience all three, because they coexist on the top of Meditation Mountain. There is no difference between samatha, vipassana, and metta. They're all basically the same. You meditate and follow the instructions, you get still, you get so many insights, and you have so much love. That's what happens when you meditate. And that's one of the reasons as a teacher, when people come up to me on interviews and they try and report their progress, and you say, I've understood the Four Noble Truths, and I understand dependent origination, I understand this. No, I don't listen to that at all. That's not a sign you're progressing. Even if you say, I was so still and peaceful, I don't look at that at all. What tells me how well you're doing in meditation is your smile, your happiness, your metta, because that's something you can't fake. Insight you can fake. You can think you know. Even stillness you can force with willpower. But metta, you can't fake that. So when you come, I look for your metta. And that tells me how you've been doing. Which means, you really get into this meditation. Your partner next door, they can bang the doors. You don't mind. Poor thing. Now, one of the stories I get from Christianity, which was, I like saying this one, this was from the stories of St. Francis of Assisi. And there was once one of the monks who was with St. Francis. He's one of the monks I really respect. He was, because they used to go on arms round as well, just like the Buddhist monks do. They would take, I think just with their hands and go begging for food every day. So one of the monks was begging for food, and he came across this really poor man. And the poor man said, please give me something. And the monk said, well, look, I've got nothing. I'm begging as well. And the poor man said, look, you've got a nice robe on. I've only got rags on. It was true. And the monk said, actually, that's right. So the monk took off his robe and gave it to the poor man. Isn't that impressive? Wouldn't that be wonderful, say, in Sri Lanka, you get a monk and they see someone who really, really needs something, they even give the robe off their back to that monk, to that poor boy. So that's what this monk did. He gave his robe. But we've got 3 robes as monks. They only have 1 robe. So when he gave his robe away, there was nothing left. So when he got back to the monastery, he got back in his birthday suit. No clothes at all. And when they saw him trying to get in the monastery, they chased him away. Pervert. We don't have people like you in here. He said, I'm one of the monks. No, you're not. You're naked. You weirdo. We call the police. He said, I'm a monk. And then they recognized him. My goodness, you are one of our monks. Come inside. Have you been robbed? Have you been attacked? He said, no. I saw a person who was more poor than me. And out of compassion and generosity, which we teach everybody else, I decided to practice what I preach. I gave him my robe. And all the other monks thought, that's impressive. That's what a real monk should do. So they took him to the storeroom and gave him a new robe. But you know what it's like? The word got around. There was this, monk who was soft in the head, who was going to give his robes away. So all the other people, not just beggars, but other people, they lined up on the street, in their worst, because those robes were worth a lot of money, in their rags, and they said, oh, please give me something. And the monk gave his robe again and came back to the monastery another time, the second day, with no clothes on. This time they realized what's going on. Okay, come in. We know what's going on. They gave him a new robe. When it happened about 3 or 4 times in a row, he can't, they're taking advantage of this monk. And so the abbot called him in. They gave him a robe and scolded him for a whole hour, saying, it's all right to be kind and generous, but don't be stupid. You're being taken advantage of. Those people know that you're an easy person to get a robe off, and they're going to selling those robes onto the market afterwards. These aren't real poor people, and you're being stupid. It's nice to be kind, but don't be stupid. We've only got a certain amount of robes in the storeroom. They cost a lot of money. People give them to us, not to give to poor people. You shouldn't do this. Oh, and he scolded this monk for a whole hour. And the monk never got angry back. He just held his head down and listened to the scolding. He never even tried to defend himself. And when the abbot thought he taught him a lesson, he sent him to his room. Half an hour later, the monk was back knocking on the abbot's door with a cup of hot soup. And the abbot said, what's this for? And the monk said, you were shouting at me for a whole hour. I thought you must have a sore throat. So please, have some soup. And he really meant it. He really was compassionate. He wasn't trying to be clever. All the time he was being scolded, he never ever thought that he's been treated unfairly. All he ever thought of was the person shouting at him must have a sore throat by now. So the first thing he did was get some soup to soothe his throat. Now that's real compassion. So look, the next time your partner shouts at you, just take it. Don't argue back. But as soon as he or she is finished, go and get some cough medicine or some soup, because they must have a sore throat by now all the time they've been shouting at you. So that's what real compassion is and forgiveness. I better carry on because it's taken a lot of time. I thought I almost had it today. Now that can mean two things. Either you almost had enlightenment, or I'd actually had it with this place. Oh no, it's a good one. I was meditating. For about 10 minutes, my hands were tingling, though I could still feel them. Then, isn't this exciting? Then, out of nowhere, a bright light. Could it be an nimitta? I opened my eyes, and the sun was coming through the window. Just thought I'd share with you. That happened to me once. I was meditating here, and then this bright light came in, and the sun doesn't shine through these windows. That's why we made them this way, so if you get a light in this room here, it must be a nimitta. So I thought, great, a nice nimitta, and I opened my eyes. Someone was taking a photograph of me with a flash. Aww. No, anyway, you came close. Very good. You encouraged us to rest, sleep well. Why do monks have to wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning? What is the purpose? Why not? We don't have to. As I say, in monastery over the road there, you're supposed to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's a rule, but it's optional. You don't have to. You can always wake up earlier. Oh no, give people a break. They don't have to wait till 4 o'clock before they wake up. If they really like it, get up at 3 or 2 or 1. So no, it's whatever you need to do. And that's when you wake up. So again, what happens if you do live a peaceful life and you don't worry so much? You know, we actually waste so much mental energy worrying about things, being afraid, worrying what people will think about us, trying so hard to please somebody. You don't have to please anybody in this retreat. I will not give you report cards at the end of this retreat and what you've done. I won't send you to the principal's office because you've been sleeping too much or you've been talking through this retreat. I won't do that. Take away the pressure. You don't have to please anybody. Just relax. And you find when you take away that tension from your brain, you don't need to sleep so much. You're not wearing yourself out so much. And just quite naturally you feel you don't want to sleep so much. At night time I'm still alert. So you carry on meditating. You lay down to go to bed, and you just wake up early. You feel good. So it's a natural, you don't need so much sleep when you don't waste so much mental energy. That's why monks don't sleep so much. Can you please provide some techniques to assist with being in the present for the purpose of meditation? As I believe I may be rushing into counting to try and still my mind. I know I can't if control and should be letting go. So how to be in the present moment much more? Let's see. I know one thing which you can do, because they did this in a monastery over in Laos. Before the communists came, there was a very famous monastery. And the abbot would take his disciples for a long walk in the jungle. And so they got really tired, sweaty. But before they actually reached the monastery, they went to this clearing close by to the monastery with these really old, tall trees. They used to have in these rainforests, beautiful trees, really high up. And there was a ladder going up to the branches of these trees. And on the top, on the branches, were these platforms. They were just the size of these little meditation cushions. But no railings on them, just flat. And the monks had to climb up, one to each platform. And then the abbot took the ladder away and said, I'll be back tomorrow morning. And there, maybe 100 feet, 200 feet up, the monks had to sit meditation all night, tired after a long day's walk. Many monks got into deep meditation up on those platforms. The ones who didn't, we never hear about. They did survive. But that really makes you in the present moment. If that doesn't work, spiders do. That really gets you in the present moment. So, no, present moment, just don't use willpower or fear. Just use your wisdom power. Be kind. After a while, you just come into the present moment. Such a beautiful place right here. And you're so free. Look, 3 days have already passed. You've only got a few left. Enjoy every moment. So just suck the juice out of every moment while you're on this retreat. And if you get a bit bored, just think, soon you'll be going home. Soon you'll be stuck in the traffic. Soon you'll be facing your boss from hell. Soon you'll be facing your husband from hell, your wife, your kids from hell. But now you're free. Please enjoy every moment. You paid a lot of money for this. So get your money's worth. Otherwise it's a waste of time. So that's sometimes I look at my life and say, no, come on, I'm going to enjoy every moment of this. This is your life. And when you go thinking of the future or thinking of the past, you're wasting your life. You're throwing minutes, hours, months, years of your life away, wanting to get somewhere else. This is the only time you have. Please make use of it. Out of curiosity, why do you choose to build a monastery in a developed country? The cost of land and construction in developing countries like Indonesia, and you could build a bigger monastery with the money, giving access to poorer people. Why? Not my choice. I think I told you why I came to Australia. Ajahn sent me here. And before he could bring me back again, he had his stroke and couldn't speak anymore. I got stuck here. So while I was here, we built a monastery. And anyway, I can't speak Indonesian, so it'd be very difficult to build a monastery. You can build a monastery and you might end up building a toilet. I don't know, they won't understand what you're talking about. So no, one of the nice things about Australia, and that's one of the reasons why you're here, it's got lots of land. And look, only 50 minutes from the CBD right here, we're out in the country and it's so peaceful and still. And there's no aircraft flying overhead, we're not on a flight path, not on a big road. That's one of the great things about Australia. It's a huge continent with few people. And just because of the climate and because of, it's very dry in the centre, there can never be too many people in Australia. It just, the infrastructure, the resources don't support it. Water and places to grow crops and stuff. So this is a great place for monasteries. It'll always be peaceful, empty, a nice place where you can come from Singapore, because there's no place you could build a monastery in Singapore. I've often thought of putting in an offer for one of the golf clubs. They've got lots of land, but I don't think we could afford that. Other than that, where can you actually build a monastery like this, or a retreat centre? That's why Australia is really good for that. It's a safe country, and it's a place where you can get space and quietness. And that's why when we got this piece of land here, that's what we thought, let's make use of this. There's a few places in the world you can go where it's really quiet and peaceful and still. I've been in many places in Asia. And in Asia, in the forest there, in the rainforest, there's always noises at night. And the cicadas make a deafening racket. But here, it's so peaceful. And even the forest monks, they come here and they say, wow, Australia is such a peaceful forest. And it's very safe. The most dangerous animal in the forest is the kangaroo. Not like the tigers and bears and other things. So this is a very good place to build monasteries and retreat centres. Anyway, when you were answering the question yesterday about disturbing others in the cottage, it sounded as though you only get one chance at enlightenment. Please explain. No, you get many chances at enlightenment. So don't think you've blown it already. That was only a joke. You get many, many chances, and you don't worry. If you don't make it this lifetime, you make it in the next. Not the next, the one afterwards. So don't rush, you've got plenty of time. It's a nice thing about Buddhism, we keep on getting reincarnated, so there's no rush. If it's only one lifetime, that really sucks. I really have to do it quickly because I'm dying soon. Oh, never mind, take it easy. If not this lifetime, the next lifetime. Isn't that really nice? If all you girls who haven't had babies yet, you don't have to worry, my biological clock is ticking away. If I don't have a kid soon, I will never have a kid. Oh, don't worry, in your next lifetime. So that's very nice. It's a nice thing about being Buddhist. You can actually really chill out and just who cares. Don't do it this lifetime, the next lifetime. In other words, it makes you peaceful. Are the magpies at your monastery dangerous? Oh, they're psychotic killers in our monastery. They swooped very low on 3 occasions. Wasn't sure they would attack. Sometimes they look after their young in the nest. But they're really Buddhists. They're only testing you out to see how mindful and how kind you are. Can we come to visit your cave tomorrow? Say at 1:30 p.m. Jesus. You have to buy tickets. Now, I think I'll be in my cave at 1:30 tomorrow. You can go to visit the cave so I'm going to give a talk in university tomorrow at 3 o'clock. or 4 o'clock. I'm giving a talk there between 4 to 6 p.m. So I'll be leaving about 3 o'clock. So if you want to go and visit the cave tomorrow afternoon, the bear will be away. So you can go and visit. When a person passes on and moves towards the light, how is it to a Buddhist? The Buddha or Quan Yin will be waiting for that person. What if that person was a Christian or a Muslim? How is it that most people don't remember their past lives? Look, most people don't even remember this life. When you were born, when you were young. So reading past life is very difficult, but you can if you meditate. So, meditate, get deep, and you can find out your past lives. And what you see at the light, this was very interesting when I first read about this. If you are a Christian, say a Catholic, you go through the light and people say they saw the Blessed Virgin Mary. And then the Protestants, they go and see Jesus. And the Hindus see Lord Krishna. And the Mahayana Buddhists, they see Quan Yin. And the Theravada Buddhists, they see the Buddha or some Arahat. And those people who don't have any religion, the atheists, they see Uncle George, who passed away a few years ago. And they do that. When I first saw it, I said, what's going on? And I always thought that maybe, there's a little waiting room. And they see, it's a Christian coming. No, Mary, it's your turn. No, it's a Buddhist, a Mahayana, Chinese, Quan Yin, come on, off your seat, go and say hello. And of course that can't be the case. And what really happening, because I know my meditation, what you're actually seeing there, what you're really seeing is a reflection of yourself, your qualities, and what you expect to see, you add on to that. So all you're seeing is something real, but the Jesus, the Quan Yin, the Lord Krishna, that's what you add on to the experience. Like when people see devas. If you're a Buddhist, maybe you see devas as a beautiful light. If you're a Thai Buddhist, you'll see them with one of these funny hats on, just like in the temple paintings. If you're a Christian, you'll see them with angels, with wings. You will see what you expect to see. There's something real there, a light, but you add on so much, especially in the realm of the mind. What you add is 90% of what you see. So in the realm of the mind, when you die, you see a light and you add on what you expect to see, a Jesus, an Uncle George, whatever you expect to see, that's what you'll see. But what you really are seeing is a reflection of your qualities. You are seeing you. And you will be judged by you. No one else will ever judge you. So if you are a kind person, a peaceful person, a person who's always forgiving, then when you die, you're sweet. You can let go, forgive, remember all your beautiful qualities, and then you have a beautiful rebirth. You don't judge you. Next question. Which Sutta Nikaya did the Buddha introduce Amitabha and Kuan Yin, Goddess of Mercy? That was actually after the time of the Buddha. Not in the time of the Buddha. Dear Ajahn Brahm, thank you very much for the clear explanations this morning. When the breath got very subtle and the body seemed to fade, there was this very bright light, but it flickers very much. It became more pleasing the second time, but it still flickered out a lot. When this happens, even if the breathing and body feel subtle, I can still hear shuffling around quite well, but the light only completely goes out when I open my eyes. I know you said to do nothing, but other than being peaceful at the moment, I don't feel like I have gained much insight. Please advise further. Thank you very much. Keep on going. You're going well. You'll find the more you do that, the more peaceful you are, the more alert you are, the more you will see, and the insights will come all by themselves. In the same way, walking up the road to this monastery, I started to see more things. You see deeper into things. Those are the insights. And I give a talk later on about the very deep insights. Ajahn Brahm, some books say meditation in a dimly lit place is helpful. I find the meditation hall very bright in the afternoon. Should I blindfold myself and get some shades? Help! I can't meditate in the room because the bed tempts me to sleep. Yes, you can get some shades on if you like. And you can get some earmuffs on. You can get what's even better. You get these what's called virtual reality goggles. And you can set them to get this beautiful nimitta. So you have virtual nimittas. Oh, wow, that's really, really good. That can really help you. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit light, but the most important thing is the light doesn't change. So if you close your eyes, yeah, it's light, because it doesn't change. You should find after a while it just disappears. But if you're worried about it, then it never disappears. So if it's very light or very dark, it doesn't matter. After a while you can learn how to meditate anyway, because you close your eyes and then it's dimly lit inside. But you can get a blindfold if you want. Can one realize anatta without attaining jhanas? No. Very good. I've got a lot of questions left. I've got to be quick. I'll mention more about that later on. Just today when I was doing walking meditation, suddenly two thoughts came to my mind. Number one, I like this retreat, so I can be a nun. Then I asked myself, what will I do as a nun? Easily. That's why it's called nun. None, nothing. Number one. Number two, my joints ache a little. I'm getting old. Who will look after me when I am old and feeble? I have no one, no children or husband. Please enlighten me. Thank you. The Buddha will look after you. And all the people who support this monasteries will look after you. I've got no health insurance. When I go to Singapore or Sri Lanka or Thailand, I don't get travel insurance. My insurance policy is my metta. So if ever I get sick, I'm very sure that you look after me. I know this because even here, if ever I cough, the next day I've got 12 bottles of cough medicine. That's why, a few times I have been sick and I've really hid it. I've only like stomach ache or diarrhea or something, because I realized if people found out I had diarrhea, they'd come up to me and said, I've got this great medicine, Chinese medicine. I've got acupuncture, I've got herbal medicine, I've got Indian medicine, I've got Western medicine. And you must take it, Ajahn Brahm. You will take it, won't you? And this happened to me many times. I've had all this medicine. I've had Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, Western medicine, herbal medicine, homeopathic medicine. I promised everybody I'd take it. And then I get really sick. So that's why I'm pretty healthy anyway, so I'm okay. So anyway, so if you ache a lot, then as if you're a good monk or a good nun, you'll always have people look after you. That's one interesting thing. When Ajahn Sumedho, one of the first of our Western monks, went to England, one of the first monks from Thailand, he asked Ajahn Chah, well, what will happen if people don't feed us? And Ajahn Chah's answer was, aren't there any kind people in England? Yes, of course there's kind people. Then you'll be looked after, he said. That's a very lovely answer. If there are kind people around, you will always be looked after. You as well, because there are kind people. That gives you a lot of faith and trust. You don't have to be so afraid, because there's lots and lots of kind people. Then you'll be looked after. And my job is to make more kind people. So that's your health insurance. Is there a way to effectively let go of the rage one... That's a joke I read today. Haven't told a joke yet. This is for Eric. It's today's joke. There was a man who got very sick, had a heart attack. So they took him to the Catholic hospital. And, he did very well. And before he was released, the nun came up and sort of gave him his bill and said, have you got any medical insurance? He said, no. Oh, that's a problem. It's a big bill, heart attack. And he said, have you got lots of money in the bank to pay the bill? He said, no, I'm broke. I haven't got very much at all. Have you got any assets you can sell? No, I'm homeless. He said, have you got any family? He said, the only family I've got is just like you. She's a spinster nun in the convent. And the other nun, the Catholic nun, said, look, we nuns, we're not spinsters. We're married to God. We're married to Jesus, sorry. And so the guy said, okay, build my brother-in-law. That's a very good joke. They're married to Jesus, so that Jesus is his brother-in-law because his sister's a nun. Anyway, is there a way to effectively let go of the rage one feels towards one's own father for being abusive to one's mother, who unfortunately would not leave him? What is it with these crazy old folks? They're not all crazy. I'm over 60 and I'm an old folk now. So that's why our monastery is becoming old folks' home. Actually, how old are you? No, we'll be old folks' home soon. They're not all old. But why is it that they used to have this word, grumpy old men? And why do people get grumpy? They don't have to get grumpy. So a lot of times, you've got an ache here, a pain here. You don't know how to deal with the aches and pains of life, and you sort of take it out on others. But some people grow old beautifully. And those are the people who've lived a very good life. They've been kind, they've been peaceful, and they're very kind to everybody. So, what is it with these crazy old folk? It is wonderful to be single, but it sucks to be constantly plagued by their marital problems. Do you have any advice, Ajahn? Look at me. I became a monk to avoid all of those marital problems. And what happens now? You come and tell me all your marital problems. So you can't escape it, so just enjoy it and be kind. So be kind to the old folks and your father and mother. They get on together, maybe not the best, and they sort of say wrong things to each other, but you do your best anyway. That's all you can do. An elderly couple is attending a dharma talk. Oh, is this a joke? About halfway through the talk, the man writes a note. It must be a joke. Very good. I really enjoyed this one. Take it slowly. An elderly couple is attending a dharma talk. About halfway through the talk, the man writes a note and hands it to his wife. It says, "I just let out a silent fart. What do you think I should do?" "A silent fart." She scribbles back, "Put a new battery in your hearing aid." Thank you for that disgusting joke. Okay. Can one meditate to reach jhana lying down? Yes. If posture is not an issue, one is able to achieve jhana state any position then? Yeah, of course. I say not walking meditation, because if you're doing walking again, you bang into a wall when you get jhana. Also, not when you're driving a car. Don't get into jhana when you're driving a car. You make accident. So basically, in the jhana, it's so peaceful and still. So you can get in any posture. And if you're doing lying down meditation, because sometimes you're a bit sore, please don't lie down on your bed. Because your bed, that's where you go to sleep and you end up falling asleep. Just get a nice cushion or a mat and just lie next to your bed on the ground. Because then it's a bit uncomfortable, it's comfortable enough, and the body will know this is not the place I go to sleep. Which means you'll be alert, but you can still sort of relax. A bit of a cushion or something. Even take the mattress off and put it on the floor, but put the pillow a long way away. It's even better if you can actually hide the pillow, because I've always found that pillows are magnetic. They attract my head all the time, and that's why you should never meditate on top of your bed. It's amazing how you fall over and you're lying down. So you can lie down meditation, but lie down in the place you don't usually go to sleep, and then you can be aware. Ajahn Brahm, during meditation some years back I used to see images. No, I don't, just blank. Is this the correct way? It depends on what images. If you have images of numbers, well done. Remember, you can share it with me so we can actually pay off the nuns' monastery. Is that very good to see lottery numbers? It sometimes happens, People do that. So if you really do your meditation well on this retreat, if you follow all the instructions and stop speaking and be in the present moment and be good little meditators, who knows? You may see a lottery number and all your financial problems will be solved. Is that good marketing? No, you don't believe me, do you? Okay, I'll try another way. No, Well, if you see images, it shows that a lot of times you have a very restless mind. See blank first of all, then beautiful lights, simple images, they're okay. Can you see your past lives? If yet, is it convenient to share them with us, please? Yes, my past life when I was Peter Betts as a layperson. And you can see pictures of those yourself in that book of 60 years of Ajahn Brahm. That's my past life before I became a monk. When I was a layperson, growing up before I left the world. That's all the things I'm telling you. Dear Ajahn Brahm, is there any chance question and answer time could be 7 to 8 p.m? No. That's a bit early. Please tell me, does compassionate people always get bullied? Of course they don't. Did the Buddha get bullied? No. But people without wisdom can get bullied. So if you have compassion, always be wise. And what wisdom means is actually sometimes you stand up for yourself, like the story which I said of the bad snake. I'm going to tell that story now. There's only a few questions left. It's nice for a story. So are you sitting comfortably? Once upon a time, there was a very bad snake. He was mean. He was malicious and vicious. He would bite people for fun. His fun, that is, not the people he bit. He wasn't being attacked. He would just go out of his way to cause pain and suffering on others. And he was such a bad snake that all the people in the area knew where he lived. And they never went close to where he lived. They'd go on a big detour. They didn't want to get bitten. He's such a bad snake. And he lived like that for many years. And when the bad snake got old, it was like many people. He started getting what we call religious. Have you ever seen how many old people go to temples and churches? They never go there when they're young. So they start to worry what's going to happen to you when you die. And even snakes think like that. What happened to snakes when they die? Is there like a heaven for snakes or a hell for snakes? So he really started getting interested in philosophy and religion. And bad snake, he heard that not so far away from where he lived, on top of the hill